All right, good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in a couple minutes. Let me just, if anybody's out there, let me just make sure the audio is working okay. Let me know on your end and we'll get ready to get going here. All right, music's working. How about the audio? Testing 1, 2, 3 on the audio. Audio. Okay, audio is good. Excellent. All right, so about 2 minutes, we'll get. All right, well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. It's great to be here with you today. All right, so last week we had some technical issues. This week I think we're good. So I think we're good to go. And let me just tell you a little bit about how this is going to work here and how we do it. So bring stocks here or ETFs. We love to look those up. Doesn't matter how many. And then type them in the comments area in caps, and then we'll take a look at them, okay? So that's kind of a quick and easy way in which we're going to do this. Also, too, please note that we do record this, so the recording is available on YouTube as well, and also on Facebook and LinkedIn. All right, let me just go over a few administrational items before we can get going here. I have to talk about the risks involved in trading. It is possible to lose some or all your money trading the financial markets. But, you know, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So I always say the two go hand in hand. Please check with your financial advisor or money manager to be sure any of the recommendations we suggest here are suitable for you. We don't know your personal situation, and they do, of course. So definitely check with them. All right, if you need a little help with risk control, I've written several books on risk control. My newest one is on the far right in the green colored book called The Money Management for Traders. Check that out. It's inexpensive. It basically gives you the information you need to add a good, solid risk control program to your trading. Working on the second edition of The Art of Trading as we speak. That's coming out in the spring of 2023, being published by Wiley Trading. And then, of course, when we look at charts, we're going to be looking at a variety of our software tools, proprietary software tools. If you want to purchase any of these, just go to our website. We have everything there. If you're watching the recording, I'll put the links at the bottom. And basically, you cannot trade the markets well unless you have the right tools. And the right tools have to be a combination of tools that tell you timing of when to enter, when to exit based on price structure. Then we have scanners that look at price structure to find and uncover those markets. And then, of course, you have to have risk control software, so you're always trading with good risk control. And then finally, like, subscribe, and share. Okay, that's important here, because the more people we get here, the more opportunities we can look up. All right, let's get out of here and start digging in. Now, a couple things. Whenever we look at charts, if you're new here, I've got a couple things on my desktop. So I'm using NinjaTrader right now. It's called NinjaTrader 8, and it's a great platform, and we have all our software studies built into it. And just a quick run through here on the top, this area up here is our scanners working in action in real time. We have scanners that take a look at the Elliott wave. We have scanners that take a look at the applied reality trading, price pattern signals, and we have also scanners looking at momentum on different time frames. So those are available for you if you're interested by going to our website. And then the actual charts that you see here are divided into 3 separate charts, all looking at the same symbol. So this is the 60-minute chart over here, giving us the short-term view. This is the daily chart, and this is basically our intermediate view. And then what we have here is our weekly chart, all right, which is the long view. So whenever we look at a stock, what we're kind of looking at is not only our software tools, but a variety of different time frames to see, okay, is the short-term time frame in agreement with the intermediate time frame, and what's going on in the big picture with the long-term time frame. So that's called multiple time frame analysis. I have a whole course on that if you're interested as well. All right, so I think I've got one here I want to share with you. I'm going to take a look at a couple and again, start typing those in caps. All right, USO has been generated as a buy on our system. USO is the ETF for oil. And let's just take a quick look at that. You know, we had a big move up on it early in the year and topped out about in April, and then has been correcting. But it reached what we call a Fibonacci target zone, which is a target area for normal breaths or pullbacks in the market. If you're an Elliott wave person, this would be an Elliott wave 3, 4, and then we're now getting into the final push for wave 5 on the daily, which may be actually a longer term trend developing on the weekly. However, our quick target zone here is 104 to roughly $129 on USO. We're sitting at 76.36. And now let's take a look at some of the indicators that actually told us to go ahead in. So we have a pyramid trading point, which is part of the ART software. What these do is these form on price structured patterns of high probability trend trades. And we look for different types of momentum built into that pattern. And when those trigger, we get a signal. So the pyramids, basically, we go in at the points of the pyramids, and our stops go at the bottom. And we can use any of the pyramids we want, depending on what part of the Elliott wave we're in, to put our stops. So that has generated a buy on the daily. We've had bullishness here. This is the OWL indicator here. This is measuring momentum. We do not like to go short or against the momentum. So if we're going to take a long trade, the momentum's got to be bullish. And you can see it's green here. And of course, it's bullish. Now, our next indicator, which is really important, is called the PTF, or Precision Trend Filter. We can go long on a yellow or green PTF, but not a red. And notice we don't have any red. So I'm going to put USO down as an immediate buy at this particular point. We have the weekly chart starting to turn around. We hit the target zone on the weekly chart. So everybody take a look at USO on their own, run that by your financial advisor. But I think that's a good one, and that is oil. Now, what's interesting here, we've also been watching the actual cryptos, and we got a signal to buy on, believe it or not, on GBTC. So this is the ETF for Bitcoin. Now, there's many ways to trade Bitcoin. You can trade the actual coin. But what I like about GBTC is it's an ETF. So it's very liquid. I can get in and I can get out. I didn't get locked out of my accounts. I've heard that happening to quite a few people that have more sophisticated Bitcoin accounts. They've been locked out. So here's my deal on this. Again, I look at the ART software along with our trading tools. I don't know personally how you could trade without having the right trading tools. And that consists for me of the ART system, the OWL, PTF, and TLM. So as a minimum, you need those. All right, so here's where we go. We've got a pyramid entry here that was triggered after a long move down. Now, many people had bought crypto, the Bitcoin rather, or GBTC, whatever you bought, when it went up. They were still recommending it at 50. It was falling down. It was a great short trade. But now it's a buy trade. And notice we have great momentum over here. We have green, 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 yellow, and we have yellow now here, and we're starting to turn around here. So if you want an early entry, I think it's a go. Minimum target on this is $27 to $37. And put your stop. Let's take a look at this here. I want you to put your stop at the very, very bottom of this price bar. Okay. That way we're giving this the most room for any pullbacks or volatility. And, you know, if we get stopped out there, you want to leave because that means the downtrend's not over. But if you put it here and that holds, then you're going to do very well. Don't move that stop up too quick, and then come here every week and we'll look at it. So I'm going to put GBTC along with USO as an immediate buy. Now, the next one I want to share with you before we move on is, no, not that one. Let's go to blockchain. Now, this is RIOT, RIOT. This was looking good a little bit earlier, but now we've got red back on it, okay? So this is a no-go now, all right? So do not go into blockchain. Let's take a look at the Ethereum trust account here. These are all ETFs. Okay, and again, notice a lot of red down here. So the only crypto right now I see that I like is Bitcoin, and that's GBTC. Now, a couple more things I want to take a look at. I want to take a look at silver. I like to do this every week as well. And silver has kind of in a situation, we've been looking to try to get long in this, but we still got to hold off. It looks like it's bouncing around the bottom. And this is what's keeping us from going long, this red PTF, which is indicating eventually more lows will come. So we're going to watch it, but right now that is not a go. All right, let's take a look at gold here and see if that is a go. All right, so gold is starting to also perk up a little bit, but it's still not quite a go. We have red here, but it is improving. Look at this long downtrend. Now, this is why I like using the right tools, because a lot of times you'll go on YouTube or you'll hear things in the news where they say buy gold or buy silver, just buy. All right. If you look at the charts using the right tools, you're immediately going to see if the trend is down, up, or going sideways. All right. And that's really important to have a system that can identify entries and exits after those movements. So we're not getting it on gold yet. Could be coming. Long term, it looks like it should recover. Short term, it's still coming down. All right, so those are the ones I wanted to show you. And again, out of those, I like USO right now and GBTC. All right, let's see what you guys got and see if we can find some more for everybody. All right, so David's out there with UNH. Let's take a look at UNH and give that a second to load. Okay. So UNH, David, I don't know what you're doing with it at this particular point, but this has been in an uptrend for a very, very long time. So if you're in it, great. If you've been in it for a long time, great. I would put your stop on this right now at this pyramid trading point, key level of support, which is 501.06, and one tick under that. So actually, let's make sure we get the right point here. Okay, it's 487.74, so 487.73. That's where your long-term stop should be. Do not initiate a trade now. It's too late. This thing has been trending up so long that any long trade is actually at this point more risky than a short trade because the trend is so mature. Now, excuse me, if we look at the 60-minute chart, looks like we might get one more little push up. So that is possible, but that, if you're at 544 on this very short-term chart, that's 555. So that's not enough for a profit on a big stock like that for a quick short-term trade. So I would stay out of this. But if you've been in it, great job, because you've made a lot of money on this, especially if you've been in it since 2015. But now is not the time to go in. All right, let's keep going here and take a look at Bank of America, BAC. BAC, let's bring that bad boy up. All right, so Bank of America, all right, this one did correct. You see how it had been in an uptrend? Let me just open up this chart. So it had been in an uptrend for a long time. This is a weekly chart, so this is a long-term chart where every price bar represents a full week. So we look back quite a ways on the history. And as you can see on this, we're kind of still moving down. We got a red owl on that. Things are improving slightly on the short-term chart, so we could be getting ready for a trade to the upside. Let's quickly just also run by and see if we hit a fib retracement level here. So let me just draw this in best as I can and see what that brings up in terms of a good retracement area. So give me a second there. Let's just bring that up, lock that in on that price. All right, so it came down to the retracement area, went a little bit lower, but didn't go below wave 1 over here. Okay, so actually, I think probably not bad looking for a possible wave 5 trade. The only thing I guess we got to be careful about is here, but we've got a red owl almost turning green. I kind of like it. All right, I think it's not a bad long trade. Let's put that down, VAC, as one of the winners today to the long side. Okay, let's go with that. Not so bad on that one. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Joe, FAST, please, he says. Okay, let's take a look at that one for you, Joe. All right, very cold weather here in San Diego. Went down to almost about 39, 40 degrees last night, which is cold for us. So I guess winter is here. All right, so let's see what we got here on FAST. All right, couple things. The chart in the middle, which is our daily chart, has a green PTF. That's showing more highs. And how this works, you basically locate the highest price in this green area. So there's a good chance we'll get above here. Notice we also get that confirmation on the weekly chart. So a bullish trade would be good. Now we got to look at the timing. And here we have red over here. So what this is saying here is that, all right, close, but not yet. Because if we take out that low on the 60-minute chart, which goes way back quite a ways, okay, to the low here, which would be the low here. All right, looks like it's going to have one more dip down. Now, if this goes from red to green, then that changes things. This has a 75% accuracy rate on the PTF. So that basically what it says is that eventually prices will go up on the intermediate chart. However, short term, there's a 75% probability that this bottom is not in, so you don't take the trade. Okay, that's how it works. All right, so in any case, we'll come back to that maybe next week or the week after. Thank you. All right, Steve, TPX. Let's take a look at TPX. Give that a second to load. All right, I really appreciate everybody typing in caps. It makes it so much easier for me to see. All right, so TPX went up, came back. Let's take a look at that weekly chart and kind of get an idea of what's going on. All right, so if we go back to 2004, we can see TPX was kind of roly-poly, did go from 5 up to about 28, then came back down and then had a big surge up here, all right, and then came back down, and so there we are. So let's just take a look and see. What I like about this is the owl is getting closer to going bullish, so that's a good sign. And let's draw some retracements in here. I'm just going to draw them best as I can. So we kind of have been back at the retracement zone. So it's pulled back enough for a possible turnaround. Let's see if we're getting that. All right, so here we got a situation where we got bullish here. We got a pyramid here. Nice move off the bottom. And we've got a nice move in momentum here. So now the next question on this is, where's the target? So the target would have to probably be high enough to make the risk to reward possible on this. And I'm thinking a target, let's draw that in with a fib extension on the daily chart. Let's see if we can get something here that makes kind of sense. I'm going to go from here to here, down to here. So your target's about 46 to 62. So probably you're going to get back up to the top, and that's almost to double your money. So I got to think TPX is a good one too. The only thing about it is we don't have any PTF confirmations, which is that green indicator at the bottom. But I think that one's okay. All right, TPX. Boy, we're finding a lot of winners. So far we got USO, we got GBTC, we got BAC, and TPX. All right, and they're all to the long side, which tells me the market is not done going back up. All right, let's take a look at Steve's next one, which is DRVN. DRVN. Give that a second to load. All right, this one's kind of messy. So, Steve, I like the other one better right off the bat. Not much history on this one, other than a short-term 60-minute chart trade down to the PTF target, which would be basically a scalp. I see no trading opportunity here. So this one I do not like, DRVN. All right, so let's keep going here. Key, NVIDIA. Take a look at that for you, Key. Key likes NVIDIA. All right, so we've looked at that one before, right, Key? All right, so it looks like now, let's see what's cooking on this bad boy. Let's open up that weekly chart first. And you can see what a tremendous move that was on NVIDIA, you know, all the way back to about 2000, I guess, 18, 19, it started to move off its bottom. So not too bad. So if we look possibly here at some situations, we got a possible 1, 2, 3, and the only concern here is that we did not go into wave 1, so that could be a wave 4. 15% of the time, we exceed the high probability 70% target zone, which is between the two blue lines. Okay, so a couple things. We still have an active bearish pyramid. This is not that close to the 0 line. Only concern there, this is green, indicating, yes, once this is over, this correction is over, it's going back up. So that's a good sign on that indicator. The question is, are we getting in too early? And I think at this particular point here, what I do like on the daily chart is we no longer have any active pyramids. When prices get above the flat parts of the triangle, whether they're pointing up or down, that's an indication of an exit. Okay, so that's where our stop loss exits go, or our trailing stops for that matter, on profitable positions. So this is looking pretty good here. We got a little bit of red coming in here. So here's my thought on this. It's already bounced off the bottom key pretty good. Let's wait for a pullback and make sure this bottom holds. Since this is no longer green, we're going to have to wait anyway, right, for timing. So let's wait and see what kind of pullback is. Let's put NVIDIA on a very strong watch list here, NVDA to the long side. We could have a bottom here, which I like a lot. Let's let it prove itself by pulling back a little bit and then see if we get another surge up and get this baby turning green over here. So I like it, but it's not. Let's hold off another week on that, okay, and take a look at it. All right, so Stuart, how are you, Stuart? Good to have you here. HPQ. All right, let's see what we got cooking on HPQ. All right, so we've obviously looked at this before. Why do I know that? Because I have the fibs drawn in already, right? All right, so let's open this bad boy up and see what we're doing here. All right, so we had a pullback here, and then we had a resurface. Now, the reason why this is not 3, 4, 5 and the end of a trend here is because this owl was higher than this one. And you only see that on a wave 3 that's not completed. So that's a wave 3 there. I bet you just learned something, right? For those of you following the Elliott wave using our stuff. So there you have it. You have an ABC correction here. I like that. We have green here. So we've reached the fib retracement target zone. Let's see what it's looking like on the lower time frames. It's looking pretty good. Hit the target retracement there. Okay, so here's the deal with this. Very much like NVIDIA we just looked at, we have the bounce off the bottom. We have red over here. So let's see this turning green. This may turn green. We may have had the pullback already. It may surge forward. But what I want to point out is we still have an active pyramid to the downside. So we need to get at a minimum above that price before I'm going to initiate a long trade on this. All right. So it's close. Again, let's put HPQ on the watch list and look at that next week. Okay. Thank you, Stuart, on that. And then KHC is his next one. KHC. And let's see what's cooking on this bad boy. And this we're going to take a look at. Okay. All right. So we still got a green PTF on the weekly chart, indicating we should go above 45. Now, this is kind of important And this is why I love looking at 3 time frames and why I love this indicator, this PTF. So that's showing more highs, okay? Remember, 75% probability of being accurate. What the PTF does not tell you is when it's going to happen and if you're going to get a pullback in the trend before it happens. It doesn't tell you that or how deep it's going to be. All right, but it is saying it should return and make higher highs. Now, why is that important here? Well, because we got into the area here where we almost took that high out, and you're starting to see bearish divergence without larger owls. So if this was a 3, this was a 4, this was a 5, you may be suspect that wave 5 is over because technically it hit the target zone, all right? However, because the PTF is green on the weekly chart, it's indicating one more high. So basically, that PTF indicator on the weekly chart is saying, yes, a long position. So here's where we are. We've had a bounce off the bottom. You could have been long already with a stop here. You have red here. So just wait. You might be getting a little bit of a pullback. You may not. Don't forget, 60-minute time frame. This thing can turn green in a day. All right. Just wait for this to turn green. Okay. And then you can go long. If you're already long and you got in when it was green over here, hey, great. Okay. Just keep your stop at the bottom. All right. And then trail it up a little bit on the next high. So let's put KHC. And we have to kind of wait for a pullback because our risk to reward here is not there. So you would have had to gotten in early to make that risk to reward work for you. So you're going to need a pullback for that to work again for you. So do not enter now. We'll take a look at it next week. That's KHC. All right, let's keep going here. Al is looking at Ford for a long, and that's stock symbol F. Okay, so right away in 2 seconds, I'm going to say no. And why do I do that? This indicator, once again, is red. All right. Yes, it could be bottoming. Yes, it could be pulling out. But with a 75% probability, we put the brakes on until that changes. So if it goes up one more time with some power and changes this to green, we're all in. Stop here. But until that happens, no go. All right. It's reached all the retracement target zones, so it's looking really good at this time for a potential move up. Now, if you went in already here, okay, because we had a buy, I think, back here, right? Then your stop is going to would have been here, okay? And I think that's where the stop's got to be held for right now. It looks to me like it may stop you out because the pyramids already took you out on that one swing up, but this is pretty deep. So I think probably hold off on that until that PTF changes. But I do think we should look at that every week as well and put that on the hold list, okay? Or the waiting list at this particular point. All right, Stuart, GM, another car company for the long. All right, let's see if GM's got a different configuration than Ford. All right, same sector, different type of chart though. All right, so again, possible target here when we looked at it before off this bottom. You have to keep your stop at the bottom. See these pullbacks? They can be nasty. When you get a pull up off a bottom, it can be very enthusiastic. Why? Because you got a lot of things going on. You got shorts on the way down that are covering. Okay, so they all buy to cover their short position. Then you have people, investors that say, okay, we might have a good bottom here. Let's get in. So you have all that fueling an uptrend, and then traders are trading the uptrend too. All right, so you have that. The problem is that can peter out, and that's what you get, this pullback. But if you keep the stop at the bottom of what you perceive as the bottom based on your analysis, then that should hold. If it's not the bottom, guess what? You're done. You're going to get stopped out. But that's the game, right? So on this case here, that bottom held really good. Again, I just would wait for this to turn green, and that could happen in a day. So General Motors, I'm going to put this as a strong possibility, but because of the red owl on the 60-minute chart, we're going to hold back on that one, okay? All right, let's see what we got cooking here. All right, Alexander, how are you doing? All right, so here we go. Let's see. Merck. Okay, let's take a look at Merck here. MRK. All right, so what do we got cooking on Merck? All right, got a wild price bar down here, right? Could be a catch error here. All right, so we've got green PTFs on both the 60 and also on the daily chart. We have a green owl over here. Let's take a look really quick at that long-term chart on Merck. Okay, all right, so it's gone from 30 back in 2008 all the way up to 98. Okay, let's take a look and see. Since 2022, this year, it's gone from roughly in the 70s to 98. Not a bad little run, right? So there you have that. Now, it's making a new high here, isn't it? Check out the owl, bearish divergence. Little suspect, kind of a roly-poly market. Not a great momentum trade, is it? All right, so little not too happy with that. We've got bullishness definitely in the market. No question about it. PTF is only calling for a high here, same here. So your highs are not that far away from where the current price is. So I think you can find something better. I'm trying to figure out where a target would be on this. And based on the 60-minute chart, to me, it looks like we're probably going to have a retracement, a pull down to 95 to 91. And then you may have a quick weak trade to the top here. So I'm not looking at this as a position trade you would hold for a long time right now. But if as a momentum trader, I would focus on the 60-minute chart and wait for the owl. You could either trade short to the target zone, all right, and put your stop here and here. And you got almost a 2-to-1, not quite. So I'm not so crazy about that trade. But more likely, if it gets to the target zone, then think about buying. And don't forget, this is a 60-minute chart. Each price bar represents 60 minutes or an hour. So you could be in a week, if not less, you could be down in this target zone. So not a bad one as long as the PTF stays green, and then wait for this to turn green after it gets in the target zone. And you might have a short-term trade that could last for a couple weeks for a new high. But other than that, I don't see a longer-term position trade on it. All right, so that is Merck, MRK. Let's take a look at Verizon, or is it Visa? I can't remember. All right, so 198. Again, this market here, a little messy, but it has already, this is classic of what I was saying on the other one. Check this out, all right? So we have, I think that bottom may have held, but in any case, we've had the correction on this one on the 60-minute. So let's take a look at this one, because this is going to be exactly what I was talking about on your other one. Notice how we had the pullback here, okay? So that dot has been connected. You've got a wave 4 pullback, wave 4, red owl. We need to have that go green. This is green. So the reason we want to wait for that owl to go green is that in case it takes one more dive into the target zone. So wait for this to go green, and then you may have a fib extension combination PTF trade. So in other words, if you have a bottom in here, what you could do is go over to the fib extensions and draw in that, and that would be your target for a wave 5. But don't do anything until the owl on the 60-minute goes green, because that will keep you out in case it takes another dip and your stop's going to want to be at the bottom. This is looking pretty good. But look at this situation here. I mean, you know, look at the volatility on the longer term trade. This is a trade best taken either on the weekly chart or on the 60-minute chart. And on the weekly chart, we're still pulling back. Well, we hit here a little bit, but then we went higher. Okay, so I still think you got to be a little careful here, but I think you have one more short-term opportunity, and that's how I would play that. Okay, so that is stock symbol V. VRTX is the next one here. And he's considering longs on all these. Okay, VRTX. Okay, right away, no long trade, too late. It's already been trending for a long time, so it's extended here. We've got red here. Okay, so no long trade on that. It's just not, it's a little too risky at this point. Okay. All right, I think you can find better. AIT. Take a look at that bad boy. All right, again, AIT for a long position is a little extended at this point. Okay. The PTF is saying higher highs, but you're only talking about 130. The way you want to use this PFT, and I know you have this, Alexander, is you want to wait for the pullback. Okay. So your risk to reward from the time you get in is enough profit to make it worthwhile. When we look at when the PTF is here, it's just basically saying it's going to 130 and we're at 127. You'd be forced to put your stop at that pyramid at 110. So the risk to reward's not there because we're not really seeing a target above that with any confidence right now. We got bearish divergence on the weekly. All right. And we're probably going to have some type of pullback here. And then you may have an opportunity. So I'd wait until it comes down to about 115 or so, and then see what the PTFs are on that. Okay. That is AIT. All right. BP is our next one. Seems to me like you're finding stocks that are already overextended. In other words, I think, if you came to me in a coaching scenario, I would say you're getting into positions that are already mature. And so therefore they're more risky than getting into positions that are just starting. So trends that are just starting are better trades. All right, again, same scenario, but a red PTF on the weekly. So no go on that one. All right, BAND is our next one, band. We looked at this one last time. All right, so BAND, different story here. Now this one's actually pretty good. But notice it's made recently an all-time low. So it blew right by any fib extension and just kept going. All right. And this is why when we reach a target zone, we wait for this owl to turn, okay, on the lower time frames, unless you're taking a longer term trade. All right. You wait for that owl to turn because it's basically signaling it could go lower. All right. So we can remove those. All right. We get a little bit of a perk up here. Let me just remove this open window. All right, it's looking pretty good on the lower time frames. Check that out, everybody. Not so bad. We do not have an active pyramid here. All right, we have a gap up here. Fill in the gap a little bit, but not necessarily. When you have that first gap off the bottom of all the gaps, that's the one sometimes, if you have that much strength, they don't fill in that much. They go about halfway. All right, so what do you do with this thing? Well, you got a couple options. All right. One is, I like the long trade. Let's figure out where the target is. All right, on this. So let's bring this down to a point on the daily chart where we can actually see what a possible target is. All right, 1, 2. So let's go ahead and draw some fib, not extensions, retracements. Sorry about that. Fib retracements. Okay, grab those, bring them all the way down. So the target on this is $81 to 125. That's a big, nice target. So you're getting a small MP here. Let's open this up. All right, you're getting a small MP here for an entry after a significant number of bearish P's, so you can enter on that one. You had a gap up. You could go long right now and put your stop as low as you can. Try to put it under here, okay, if you can. Now, the reason why I usually don't use a pyramid on the first leg up is because that retracement can be 100%. So you always want to try to put that stop at the bottom. So I'm liking this. Let's put band on the immediate buy list. Boy, we got a lot today. All right, so there you have it. This actually could be pretty good. No guarantees, of course, because, even the best laid trades sometimes do not work out. So you go with the probabilities. And it's looking pretty good. So let's just quickly go check here, check here, check here, check here. All green. Okay. No longer an active pyramid. We do have bearishness with an active pyramid here. This is getting closer to the zero line. So probably a good idea is when you calculate your trade size using our trade size calculator or risk reward calculator, go ahead and knock that trade size, take a 2% risk, and then whatever the calculator gives you, take half of that. And the reason I say that is because you're going against still a pyramid on the long-term charts, even though I think it's bottoming. Once this turns around, then you can add another position onto it. So that's an immediate BAND. Nice job on finding that one. All right, PR. Let's take a look at that one. All right, right away. No PTFs helping us. Extended trend on the 60. So basically we're probably getting ready for a correction. Notice the bearish divergence here. Let's take a look here. We got a little bit of bearish divergence here as well. This is still pretty strong to the upside. I think probably, the momentum is good. You certainly can't short it yet at this particular point. Not a lot of history on this one. I'm not excited about this one, okay? A long trade here, it's too late. The pyramid's generated a trade way back here, okay? So once you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pyramids, forget it, okay? We don't take it again. It's too late, okay? That's where the pyramids come in, taking a look at the price structure. So that's just too late to get in, okay? So hopefully that, I think, is good for that. Apple, AAPL. Let's take a look at Apple. All right, give that a second to load. All right, so Apple kind of, let's open this bad boy up here on the long-term chart. Now, for you Elliott Wave people, what is this? A 3, right? Check that out. All right, so we got a 3 for sure. So we're in a correction, very similar, I think, to the Dow almost and the NASDAQ. So we did not hit the high probability target zone. So this is another reason that I think we're going to see some bullishness back and forth for a while in the markets. And I think we're seeing a pretty good day today. It's up 220 points. It was up about 500 on the Dow earlier. So we're going to see a lot of volatility. We see this. We do think the markets are going to work their way down to very low levels next year. And I don't think Apple will see this high again for quite some time. But I do think it's going to work its way down into the $115 to $72 range. So based on this, let's see who wanted to look at this one. This was Al. Okay, so Al on this one, I wouldn't even short it at this point based on this time frame, because where are you going to put your stop? If you put it here and you short here, you don't have a 2-to-1 to the target zone. So you'd probably be better off to wait for a long position after it reaches the target zone. Now, with that said, let's take a look at the lower time frames. Those are bullish. This is bearish. So we've got a situation where the volatility is going to continue. So you're probably going to go up here and maybe down here, maybe down here short term. This is saying short term. We're going to go down a little further. Then we get a bounce back up. So a lot of volatility. But until we reach that target zone on the weekly, all right, I wouldn't touch it. Okay, that's just me. All right, so that is Apple. Let's take a look here. HPQ, we looked at that one. All right, key XLE. XLE, let's type that bad boy in. All right, so this is one where it hit that target here. We looked at that, right? We had green. Okay, so it's too late to go into this one, but I assume, Key, I think you're in this one already. So what you want to do is just hang tight for right now. And here's what I would play this. You're getting close to the target, right? I don't know where you got in, but this is green and it's only green for a little further. So it's not really helping you tell. It's not telling you you're definitely going to reach the target or not, but it is most likely you will, because 70% of the time that happens. All right, but at least we're gotten over here. So I would hold it for right now. If this turns yellow, and you got a large position, take a third off the table and then have your stop at the pyramid to allow for volatility. And let's see if it gets to the target. So this is not one I would recommend now. It's too close to the target, but if you're in it already, you hold it. And that's why having the right tools make a difference. Without this indicator here, I couldn't tell you that. Okay. I just don't see how anybody can trade without having a complete set of tools to basically illuminate what's going on in the markets. All right, Nike, let's take a look at that. NKE. Nike. All right. Look like a bottom down here, right? But this is saying no, stay out, okay? This is red. Let me see if we still have red over here. No, we have a little green over here. Yeah, so as much as this could have been a buy here, a couple things are going against this. One, we got an active pyramid still, all right, to the short side. All right, the other thing is you've got a PTF that's red. So it looks like we're going to head down again. So if you're short, stay short, keep your stop up here. If you're looking for a long position, not yet. It's coming, but not yet. Oh my gosh, did we get it all the way to the bottom here? I think we did. All right, let me give a couple more minutes. Great session today. couple more minutes just to see if anybody has anything else. And then let me know, would you like to look at some of the futures intraday timeframes? We could do that and kind of take a look at that. We do that the same way we do this. We just use very short timeframes. All right. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Did a great job today. All right. All right. So let me just go over what we like here. Okay. Alexander, one more. He says MCK. Take a look at that one. All right. Again, let's take a look. So Alexander, what you're doing, I think here is you're finding stocks. Have you been in this for a long time, or is this something that you're thinking about going in? Let me know what you're doing with that, because again, it's too late. All right. The trend is already overextended. When we have more than 4 of these bad boys up here, all right, the trend is mature. When we get past 8, danger. Okay, it's danger. So you kind of don't want to go into this to the long side. This has got showing bearish divergence. You're going to get a nice big correction off this. You might even be able to trade to the short side at some point, but not yet. Still going up a little bit. So I would kind of just hold off on this. We have bearish divergence also building in the 60-minute. So, you got to be careful with that. All right. I'd be very interested to hear how you're choosing your stocks, because I would say most of the stocks, with the exception of the one BAN that you had great today, most of them have been overextended. So you may be doing some stock sector analysis. And the problem with doing stock sector analysis is by the time the sector is rotated, many of the stocks in that sector have already trended significantly. So you tend to get in late. I know that from experience, because about 25 years ago, I traded those and had a very tough time because they were all overextended by the time I looked at them. All right, so there you have it. Well, Market Smith is doing that. Market Smith then is probably looking at trending markets already. And by the time you find them, they've already extended. Okay, unfortunately. All right. So if you have a position, you're in good shape. I don't know where you got in. Hopefully you got in when Art told you to, down around $150 back in 2021, based on the weekly chart. You would have been in good shape then. All right. So let's see. Anything else? Adobe. Let's take a look at Adobe, ADBE, and see what's cooking on there. Give that a second to load. Let me reorient some of these indicators here. All right, so Adobe still going down. All right, so it's had a significant pullback. I mean, let's open up that weekly chart. Check that out. Nice wave 3. Let's draw in those wave 3 retracements. And 1, 2. I'm going to draw them in right here. Give you an idea. So we're already hit it. Okay, we're in the retracement area. We're nowhere near wave 1. So that's kind of the deal with that. All right. This is a wave 4 that we're in, and it's not over yet. Still got red here, here, and here. And probably looks like it's going to make a new low. So I would just hold back. If you're short, hey, you're great on a short position here. But if you're not, don't go short. Okay. I wouldn't go short here, because this thing could reverse at any time, and the PTFs aren't giving you enough target for that. So just know that it's not bottomed yet. We'll take a look at it next week, and it eventually should bottom and be a nice trade at the long side, but not yet. Okay, not yet. All right, so key is using our software. Just said NVIDIA turned green. Let's take a look at that. Now, you got to make sure, are you using TradeStation or Ninja Trader on that? Yep, you got it. Green, okay? So there you have it. Okay, so now, good job. I told you, Key, that could happen quickly, right? So NVIDIA is now going on the buy list, okay? All right, so now you can buy this. So this is a good one. So Alexander, see the difference? Big move down. Now we're trying to get in early. Stop goes at the bottom, all right? And now you can maybe be able to participate in what could be on the weekly chart, the beginning of a long wave 5 trade. So the target is 301. PTF target is 350. Okay, so that's the kind of risk to reward we want. A little bit of risk, tremendous reward. That's how you make a lot of money in trading. Okay, So that's kind of what you want to look for. All right, let's see. Thank you, Key, for letting us know on that. So we're going to move NVIDIA to the buy list, and that's exactly how fast they can change on the 60-minute chart. That's why you got to really pay attention to those. All right, ACLS is our next one. I'm glad the technology is working today. Good on this thing. Last week, it was a bummer. The sound, for some reason, didn't work, and we tried everything. We couldn't get it. All right, so good to have it going good today. All right, so this is OB for you. All right, let's see what we got here. You're not OB Kenobi, are you? Just a little joke there. All right, so what do we got here going? ACLS. Do I got that typed in right? I do. So let's take a look at that weekly chart here. Nice move up. All right, looks like it's in a correction still on the weekly. And I say that because we have some pyramids heading down. Let's just draw a quick fib in here and see what we've got cooking for that. So we've hit the target zone. Let's see what the smaller time frames show. Now we're starting to get some bullishness coming back in. All right, and you did hit the target zone. Okay, and you did what I also like is you see where it hit a bottom here, then rally, and then tried to test that bottom, but it held. Now it's bounced up. That's a good sign. All right, it's now at another inflection point, so we'll see what happens. All right, so what would you do with this? All right, so I'm thinking long trade, and certainly we're getting pretty much all green across the board. I don't know if you can see this at home, but I'll really zoom it in. We got green here now, so that's green. No red, green, no red, just no bullish pyramid. Okay, that's the only thing. So a couple things here. We don't have the PTF to help us here. So basically, the only way this trade is going to be profitable is if we have a bottom in on the retracement and it's going back up. And we may. Okay. So you need to put your stop pretty low, probably here or here. Okay. The lower the stop, the smaller the trade size, right? So that's how you control your risk. So you got to, it's pretty volatile. All right. So it's not going to be a quickie, I don't think. But this could be one. I'm going to put it on the buy list as okay. I mean, from the signals, it's definitely okay, except for the no pyramid on the actual daily. You will get a pullback on this. We're seeing bearish divergence here. All right, so if you're unwilling to put your stop here, don't take it to the long side. Wait for the pullback and then the surge, and then you'll have a newer place to put your stop. So it's okay. All right, it's probably not as good as some of the others, but it is a buy. Okay, thank you for sharing that. All right, let's see what we got. Oh yeah, Key, definitely. I got to get my little thing here. All right, Key's wanting a clap. There you go. This goes for everybody. Okay, this goes for everybody. All right. So, because what a great, I think this is the most we've ever had looking at this. And that also tells me that overall, the market is not done rallying for a while. So I think we're going to have a little bit more of a rally. I do think long-term on the weekly charts, we still have a downtrend in place, obviously. But these type of rallies occur even in a bearish market. So I think we're looking pretty good on that. All right, so let's always use stops because it could change at any time. Eleanor, I think I missed yours. Let's take a look at you. MTDR. All right, I think, yeah. And then Steve, you got one more too. All right, MD, did I type that in right? It doesn't look right. MTDR, yep, that's right. All right, so this is pretty extended. I don't know if you're in this already, all right, but don't go long here. We got red here now. If you've been long, just trail your stops up as best you can. But in this case here, I can't put you long because PTF. Now, what I can tell you is that we're starting to see bearish divergence on the 60-minute chart. Okay, so we're getting ready for a move down. If you want to be a little chancy, we may be at a top here as well because we're seeing bearish divergence here. So this may be the last gasp to the upside. So what does that mean? Maybe a short trade because we're kind of, this is the PTF bottom here. That's in the 40s. So if this thing reverses, put your stop up here, wait for it to take the pyramid out. And I think you got just about a 2-to-1 at that point to the PTF target zone. So that could be a possible short trade, only if you want to be a little chancy. Okay, that's the only thing. That no long position though. Okay, no long position. All right, Steve, let's see. OMAB. OMAB. Let's take a look at that for Steve. I think I looked at that one already, right? Oh, getting so confused on the comments here. There's so many coming in. LMT. Let's take a look at that one. LMT. I think I covered that. This one I have over here already. LMT. All right, so let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so things that are bullish here. All right, so we've had a nice move up on here. Now notice what happened here. All right, PTF just turned yellow just this week. Okay, so we reached a new high, but the momentum was not strong enough to keep it green. So we kind of see that when we get near tops or trends that are getting kind of exhausted, so to speak. So, you know, a long position here, not so sure. You know, the PTF on this time frame here is only saying you're going to get into the 480, maybe 490s, I guess, whatever the previous high was there, 490. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a correction first. Maybe if we correct down into the 440 area, so we get a pullback, maybe you can, and this stays green, you can take a PTF trade to the top there. But just be a little careful here because it's been trending for a long time. And even though it looks like it's going to make maybe one more high, that could be it. All right, so you have to be a little careful here. So when this PTF goes yellow, if you've been in this for a long time, if this goes yellow, I'd probably think about, you know, selling out, okay, if you've got a nice profit on it. All right, so that is kind of that. Let's see. Okay, I think we're done. All right, so here's what I like today. USO, that's the oil ETF. GBTC, believe it or not, yes, GBTC, which is the Bitcoin crypto ETF. That's triggering a buy. Bank of America, BAC, TPX, and NVDA now. Okay, BAND, band, and ACLS. Okay, not necessarily in that order, but those are all the good ones for today. All right, great session today. Wow, what a great turnout. Let's quickly just run over. You know me, I like to run over to the intraday time frames real quick, and let's see what's cooking on some of these. So this is gold here. All right, so we've got some movement to the upside on the now, when we look at intraday markets, what I laugh about is this is a 5-minute time frame. All right, this is a 1-minute time frame, and this is a 15-second time frame. So a little different than position trading, right? But it's basically the same idea. All right, and if we go to something like, let's take a look at a market that's red, 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 it's going down. Now the market is up 75 points, but it was up 500 points. So you really see these big swings on these movement down. Okay, so that's kind of where that is. So if you're short on the MES from a day trading standpoint, stay short. Okay, I'm sure the MQ will be the same because it's an equity. Very MQ is the same. All right, on these short term, this is left over from the other day. Let me get rid of this. All right, so there we have that. So we got a lot of red. So you definitely want to stay short on these major markets. Let's take a look quickly at crude oil here. Crude oil is a short too. All right, and that's coming down after a nice run up. So as you can see, we kind of look at these short-term time frames for day trading the same way in which we do the longer time frames. And I got to tell you, we have a day trading room, and it is a blast. All right, it is fun because we're basically, you know, in the zone, just looking at connecting the dots of all our trading studies to tell us what to do. We're not looking at news. We're not looking at anything. So I'm just going to let this rip for a while. All right. and see what happens on this, and then we'll close the room in just a little bit, okay? So I want to thank everybody for coming again. All right, I'll mute out here in a minute and just kind of follow this for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and then we'll close the room and we'll see you back here next week. So we are going to put the recording up, and then we put a timeline on the recording as well. So when you look at the recording, make sure you open up the description and you'll see the timeline. They kind of hide it, so you got to kind of look for it. And I think it's like, you know, let's say time codes and then more. So make sure you click the more so you can see them all. And then you can just go to the stocks that we looked at today. And what I do is I put a little asterisk against some of the ones that are a go for today. So you can just zero in right on those, because those are our best opportunities for today. All right. Thank you, everybody. And again, we'll see you back here next week. And I did get to LMT. Okay. I did do that one. All right. So we're all set there. And that's it. Okay. So you guys have a good one. All right. And thank you so much for coming. We had a good turnout today. So let's keep that rolling, so to speak. All right. Bye-bye. I'll put some music on too. Of course, I'll come on just 1 minute. We just had another pyramid form here. So if your stop was here, this is how you would trail your stop down to the new pyramid, okay? So your stop would be here. That's the beauty of the pyramids. They keep you aligned with the trend. So there. Now this just turned yellow. See this? Let me just cut the music off for a minute because this is kind of a cool thing. Okay, so we just got a new pyramid. So our stop now would be down here if you were gotten in earlier. But also too, notice what we had here is we had the PTFs turn yellow. So you could scale out if you wanted to, but with your stop so close, I would just leave it there. Okay. So that's a nice lock in of profit there. All right, that's it. I'll go back to music. Okay, guys, we're going to kill the feed here. So I think what's happening here is we just got stopped out. Prices went above the base leg of the pyramid. So that was our trailing stop. Nice trade, nice profit. I think we're going into wave 3 now. We'll be confirming that when we have a green owl. This is our target. I mean, going into wave 4 after wave 3. So this is our target for wave 4. So I think the idea will be when you get up here, we'll have another short opportunity to go short for wave 5 back to the downside. But for right now, I think we're going to head back up into that target zone. So the short trades are covered. Okay, so that's how that would work. All right, so this is kind of exactly how you would do it on position trading. Great time. All right, so if you like the day trading stuff, I got to tell you, love the day trading room. Check that out. All right, we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.